Have you ever reached out to a woman and got nothing back? No reply, no energy, no effort. And suddenly you start questioning everything: your worth, your presence, your masculinity. You wonder, did I say something wrong? Was I not enough? Should I try again, or just disappear? This silence starts echoing louder than words. It stings, not because she's gone, but because you've made her absence mean something about you. Let me tell you something. Her silence is not the problem. Your reaction to it is. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." Most men panic when they feel dismissed. They double text, they spiral, they lose center. But the Stoic man doesn't chase noise. He sinks deeper into stillness, because he knows silence doesn't always mean rejection. Sometimes it's the universe saying, return to yourself. This isn't about getting her attention back. This is about getting your power back. In today's video, we're going deeper than ignoring her back. We'll uncover how to turn rejection into self-respect, how to master your emotions, and how to walk through silence, not as a victim, but as a man on purpose. Let's begin. Part 1. Detach to reclaim power. If she's ignoring you, don't chase, don't guess, don't plead. Instead, detach. But let's be clear, detachment is not coldness. It's not bitterness. It's not pretending you don't care. It's removing your sense of identity from someone else's attention. Because every time you tie your self-worth to whether she replies, you give away your sovereignty. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." That means it's not her silence that's hurting you. It's the story you're telling yourself about that silence. She's ignoring me, therefore I must not be good enough. That's the trap. Real Stoic detachment is this. You feel the sting, but you don't make it your identity. You notice the silence, but you don't let it hijack your day. You can still love, still desire, still hope, but you don't kneel at the altar of her response. So what should you do instead? You withdraw your energy like a warrior resheathing his sword. Not out of fear, but out of discipline. You reclaim your attention like a king retrieving his crown, not because it's been stolen, but because you forgot who you were for a moment. Practice this. Every time your mind loops back to her, pause. Place your hand on your chest. Close your eyes. Say to yourself, "My attention is sacred. I do not give it away for free." Then open your journal. Write down what you've given away, time, energy, thoughts, and choose to redirect them. Not toward her, but toward your mission, your growth, your peace. Detachment is not the end of connection. It's the beginning of self-mastery. Part 2. Control the flame of emotion. Here's the truth most men never hear. You don't lose your power when she ignores you. You lose it when you panic. That moment she goes quiet, most guys melt down. They check her status every 15 minutes. They write long messages. They replay the last conversation in their heads like a courtroom cross-examination. That's not stoicism. That's insecurity trying to wear confidence like a mask. A Stoic man doesn't chase clarity from outside. He creates clarity from within. Seneca wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." This is your chance to prove yourself, to prove that you can stand in the storm and not be moved, that your heart can burn, but your hands stay steady, that you can feel the wave and still hold the frame. Apply this real-time emotional training. When you feel the urge to reach out, stop. Breathe in slowly, count to 4, hold, breathe out. Instead of reacting, write. Put the feeling on paper. Strip it of drama. Label it fear, longing, doubt. Then ask, is this helping me live with virtue? Would Marcus Aurelius grovel for a reply? Would Epictetus refresh Instagram? Or would they sit with the discomfort and choose reason over reaction? Train that muscle. Because every time you choose stillness over impulse, you're not just resisting emotion, you're forging character. You're building a nervous system that doesn't collapse at rejection. And that is what makes you unshakable. Let me share a story, a true one, about a man named Lucius. Lucius was a young lawyer in Rome, smart, ambitious, respected. One day he met a woman, beautiful, mysterious, captivating. She pursued him first. The chemistry was undeniable. But slowly things changed. She started pulling away, short replies, missed dinners, no more eye contact in public. Lucius was confused and angry. Part of him wanted answers, another part just wanted her back. But Lucius wasn't just any man, he was a student of Epictetus. And instead of spiraling, he did something most men today would never consider. He stopped chasing, he didn't beg, he didn't demand closure, he didn't send angry letters or gossip to mutual friends. He simply retreated, not in weakness, but in awareness. He said to himself, if this is not mine by nature, then its departure cannot wound me. He focused on his practice. He wrote each morning, he exercised, he volunteered in the courts for those who couldn't afford defense. His days became full, not because she came back, but because he came back to himself. And months later, she did reach out. But by then, Lucius had grown. And he realized something. The version of him who wanted her was not the man he had become. This isn't about romanticizing rejection. This is about realizing that stillness is not passive, it's power restrained. And the men who learn to hold their center when emotion begs them to act are the men who eventually build lives no silence can interrupt. Ask yourself, am I reacting to pain or rising from it? Because one builds chaos, the other builds character. If this story or message is giving you clarity, strength, or a new way of thinking, take a second to support what we're building here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps us create more powerful content like this, and it tells us that these messages matter. Thank you for being here. Let's keep growing together. Part 3. Show strength through silence. Want to know what most high-value men do when they're ignored? Nothing. And that nothing, when done right, is one of the most powerful moves in your arsenal. Most men think silence is passive, that it means giving up, that if you don't respond, you'll lose her for good. But here's the truth. When you're calm, quiet, and composed in the face of neglect, you radiate power. Because silence, when intentional, sends a message. I don't beg, I don't chase, and I won't compete for someone who doesn't see me. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That means no passive-aggressive games, no disappearing acts to get attention, no trying to manipulate her into noticing you. Because that's not strength, that's insecurity wearing a mask. Real men don't ghost to get a reaction. They center themselves and outgrow the drama. They don't sit around wondering what she's thinking. They get so busy building a life of purpose that her absence becomes an afterthought, not a wound. Silence isn't weakness. It's the refusal to lower your standards just to stay visible in someone else's life. It's the decision to communicate, not through noise, but through the results you're producing. Practice this. No checking her social media. Don't scan her stories. Don't accidentally like old posts. And definitely don't send a just checking in message. Cut the energy cord. Set a 7-day no contact rule. No reaching out, no reacting, no analyzing. During these 7 days, channel your energy into growth. Let her silence echo, not into your insecurity, but into your progress. Let your life speak for itself, loudly, clearly, and unapologetically. Part 4. Transmute rejection into ritual. Every time she ignores you, you're handed a choice, collapse or create. And a Stoic man chooses to create. He turns the pain into power, the silence into structure. This is what it means to transmute rejection into ritual. You don't numb the hurt, you alchemize it. Rejection is not the enemy, it's the invitation. The invitation to return to yourself, to rebuild your body, sharpen your mind, and recalibrate your standards. Because the truth is, every moment you're not distracted by her is a moment you can use to forge the man you were meant to be. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." So ask yourself, who do I want to become? What does that version of me look like, sound like, live like? Then build rituals around that vision. Here's how to do it. Wake up early. Don't snooze. Don't scroll. Get up and move. Train your body, not just for looks, but for discipline. Push through the reps as if every drop of sweat is burning off the need for validation. Journal your thoughts, but not like a victim. Journal like a strategist. Write down your triggers, your impulses, your growth points. Turn your emotions into insight. Pick a skill, anything from coding to cooking, and master it. Because every time you master something outside of you, you remind yourself that you're still in control. Then build. Build your body. Build a business, build a new social circle, build anything that cannot be taken away by someone's silence. Don't just move on. That's what average men do. Level up. Quietly, consistently, completely, in silence, in solitude, in self-respect. Part 5. Reframe the narrative. The real pain never comes from her silence. It comes from what you make that silence mean. You begin to spiral, thinking maybe I wasn't attractive enough, maybe I talked too much, maybe I said the wrong thing, or worse, maybe I was never enough to begin with. But these thoughts aren't facts. They're stories. And stories shape our suffering more than reality ever will. Stoicism teaches, it is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Epictetus. So stop letting your mind weaponize the unknown. Her silence isn't a verdict, it's an open space. And in that space, you get to choose the narrative. You get to decide whether you become bitter or better. Think about it. She didn't reply. That doesn't mean you're unworthy. It might mean she's busy, distracted, emotionally unavailable, or simply not for you. That's not rejection. That's redirection. Practice this reframing. Instead of, she's ignoring me, try, the universe is redirecting me to something more aligned. Instead of, I messed up, say, this is feedback for refinement, not a failure. Instead of, she doesn't want me, remind yourself, I only attract what resonates with who I'm becoming. Make rejection your mirror, not your cage. Let it reflect where you need to grow, not where you need to shrink. Use every silence as a spotlight, not on her absence, but on your evolution. When you change the story, you change the emotion. And when you change the emotion, you change your response. That's how power is reclaimed, from the inside out. Part 6. Speak with value, not volume. Let's say she comes back. The text pings, the name pops up, and suddenly all your emotional training is tested. Your first instinct? You want to explain your silence, fill in the gaps, ask what happened, reopen old wounds with questions that never had answers. But that's not who you are anymore. You don't explain yourself to regain attention. You embody your evolution and let that speak louder than words. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with himself, and contentment doesn't seek validation. It moves with quiet confidence." So, if she texts you after days, weeks, or even months, respond with calm, grounded energy. Not to prove a point, but to preserve your peace. Something simple like, hey, I've been focused on some projects. Hope all is well. That's enough. No emotion dump, no sarcasm, no passive-aggressive remarks, just composed presence. Because here's the truth, if your energy has changed, she'll feel it. If your life has evolved, she'll sense the difference. You don't need to say it. She'll see it in your calmness, in your pacing, in your silence between words. Here's what to remember. You don't chase closure. You don't beg for clarity. You don't use your words to earn worth. You use your vibe, your poise, your progress, your stillness to show that your life didn't pause in her absence. You've evolved. Let that be the loudest message she receives. Part 7. Know when to walk away with dignity. A Stoic man doesn't linger where his presence is overlooked. He doesn't beg for affection. He doesn't wait for validation. He doesn't keep knocking on a door that was quietly closed. Because silence, when it becomes a pattern, is not confusion. It's communication. And a man who respects himself knows how to read it, without anger, without bitterness, without a dramatic exit. Marcus Aurelius said, "To live a good life, we have the potential for it, if we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference." And that includes being indifferent to those who show, through their actions or inaction, that they are not ready, willing, or capable of meeting you where you are. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about your peace more than about forcing a connection. It means you value clarity over hope, reality over fantasy, and self-respect over temporary attention. You don't need closure from her. That's a trap. What you really need is closure from within, a moment where you stop looking for answers and start looking inward for alignment. You don't need to win the breakup or prove her wrong or post something just to be seen. That's noise, and noise is not strength. Stillness is. Final practice. Sit down in silence. Write this sentence on paper. I release the need to be chosen. I choose myself. Then burn the note, slowly, with intention. Watch it turn to ash, And as it does, imagine the weight leaving your chest. Not because it didn't matter, but because it doesn't define you anymore. You're not walking away to punish her. You're walking away to protect your own becoming. Because sometimes the most powerful message you can send is no message at all. And when you walk tall, walk quiet, walk like a man who knows the difference between wanting connection and needing validation. You are the frame, not the portrait. Being ignored doesn't mean you're unworthy. It doesn't mean you need to change yourself to be seen or chase to be chosen. It means life is handing you a moment of stillness and asking, who are you when no one is clapping? Most men collapse in that silence, but a Stoic man, he rises into it. He understands that self-worth is not built in someone else's eyes. It's forged in solitude, in structure, in the discipline of choosing peace over panic, purpose over desperation. You are not here to perform for validation. You are here to become immovable. Let others come and go. Let the world swirl around you. You are the constant, the anchor, the fire that doesn't flicker. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. So no, you're not the one being ignored. You're the one being refined. By silence, by solitude, and by the standard you refuse to lower. Now, I want you to lock this in. If you're ready to choose self-worth over validation, peace over panic, comment below. I choose myself. I walk with quiet power. Let this be your vow and your signal to every man reading. I don't chase noise, I build presence. Thank you for watching. If this video gave you clarity, strength, or peace, consider subscribing to Stoic Spirit for more strategies rooted in ancient wisdom and real-world power. Together, let's master life from the inside out. Now go and become the kind of man silence cannot shake.